Hello, my name's Tim, and today I'll be presenting my BeerBro beer recommendation system. And so my project goals included building a content recommender, which creates content-based recommenders based off the beer you enjoy. In addition, I wanted to build a collaborative filter recommendation system, which uses collaborative filtering to create more serendipitous recommendations based off a number of beers you select. And then finally, I wanted to deploy both recommenders within an app. And so taking a look at the data I used data collected from ratebeer.com, which includes more than 9 million reviews of more than 250,000 unique beers. The beers had features such as style or alcohol by volume, while the reviews themselves had features such as tasting notes and overall score. So taking a look at the beers, you can see that there's more than 112 unique styles, and plotted below are just the top styles. And you can see the IPAs are leading the pack here, which is expected. And then taking a look at the score distribution of the ratings, you can see that the scale ranges from 1 to 5, but also that majority of beers are rated highly above the mean of 4. And then more importantly, I needed to take a look at the density of my user rating matrices. And so initially, with over 9 million ratings, I had a density far below 1%. And so I decided to filter by the 1,000 most rated beers. And then I was able to bump my density up to over 2% here. This is just a general outline of my recommendation system. And so I had intake process data, including the user's input. And then I used both the content recommender and collaborative recommenders to create separate recommendations for the user. And so let's begin looking at my content recommender. So my content recommender uses natural language processing of the user review text themselves. And so you can see that for this example, it's like tasting notes. And so I use TF-IDF factorization to pull out the 10,000 highest weighted unigram and bigram word features of each beer. And I use cosine similarity to compare each beer. And then moving on to my collaborative filtering recommender, I decided to stick to matrix factorization because although I did increase my density, my user rating matrices were still very sparse. And so I used cross-validation to compare 3 different models, including SVD, NMF, and Spark ALS. And I was able to get the following results of root mean squared error. And so I went with SVD because it scored best. And after using grid search, I came up with these parameters for SVD. And I used precision and recall as my error metric. And the way I computed this, I considered recommended items that as items that had more than 4 stars, but also were predicted to be the 5 highest ratings. And then relevant items in this case are the true reviews, which are higher than 4 stars. And let's move on to, let me show you my app actually. So I have my app running locally on my machine. This is the general look of it. And so up in the top left corner, you have the content-based recommender. The way this works is you filter by a beer, first by brewery. So maybe Brewdog. I'm actually not sure if I've tried this one, but we'll try that out. And then from here, you pick the beer itself. So let's try a hardcore IPA. And then it pulls out the top 5 closest beers to that. And you can see that it does a pretty good job of finding beers that are very similar. So they're all the same style. They have roughly the same alcohol by volume. And if we looked at the actual notes, we would see that a lot of the words are the same actually. And then if you want to find more serendipitous recommendations, ones that it may not be exactly the same, but you may enjoy based on other people's that are like you can use the collaborative filter. And so the way this works is you pick a number of beers and then you give them ratings based on how much you enjoy them. So I like Odell IPA. Arrogant Bastard's probably one of my favorite beers. And then I just picked a couple other ones. And this will run the collaborative filter. But because this needs to compute a user similarity matrix, it does take a little bit of time. And so I'll let this run. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. But I want to thank you if you watched this. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Here we go. And so it spit out 6 different recommendations for us. You can see that they're not, some of them are kind of similar, like these are both IPAs, but we also get some ones I wouldn't expect, like English Sweet / Milk Stout. And so this gives me, I think, the user a better idea of like, maybe they want to try something different and they're not sure if they actually enjoy it. But based off people who rate beers the same way they do, they'll get those recommendations. So thanks again, and I hope you enjoyed that.